This is the Impressions Exchange Podcast. Where all topics impacting the graphic imaging and printing industry are addressed via in-depth news coverage, analysis, and timely interviews.
Welcome to the Impressions Exchange Podcast. I'm Ashley Roberts, Content Director of Printing Impressions and host of today's episode. With me today, I am joined by Joe Marin, Senior Vice President, Member Services at Printing United Alliance. We talk about the G7 Plus Exchange event, which is happening in October. We talk about why it's all about community, what attendees can expect, and why this event is focused on peer-to-peer learning and an emphasis on real-world applications. We also get an update on the recent iLearning Plus courses that have been added to the platform. Joe, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Of course. It's a pleasure. We're here to talk about the G7 Plus Exchange. Can you maybe just give me high level, what is it and why is this event such a milestone for the printing industry?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's our first ever G7 Plus Exchange. It's a live in-person gathering. And it's really for anyone that's passionate about color and printing color accurately and consistently and just printing quality color. And we're bringing together G7 experts, G7 Plus experts, manufacturers, brand teams, printers, creatives, and everyone all in one room. And so this is really not just about certifications or standards. It's really about sharing real experiences of what's working in terms of color and color reproduction. Because as we know in our industry, it's not just ink on paper, it's ink on anything. And so we're going to talk about what's working, what's not working, and where do we go next as a community. So this is a step forward, and G7 Plus it is also a step forward. There's new calibration logic. There's a wider range of applications that are supported. So, we thought it was important to have this event that reflects that same, forward thinking and forward motion.
Great. So, this event is obviously about color, but it's also about community. So what kind of experience can attendees expect at the event?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's going to feel like the best kind of industry reunion meets a workshop, really. There's not going to be sales pitches. You're not going to have these long, drawn out, long format lectures. It's people connecting, learning, and geeking out over color. Mm-hmm. And so there's going to be a real mix of experience levels. And that's important. That's important to understand. That's going to keep the conversations fresh. There's going to be experts there. There's going to be people that are new to the business and new to color. So this is for everyone that's involved in reproducing color. It's not just G7 experts and G7 Plus experts. Mm-hmm. So we really designed this event to feel collaborative and practical. And we want people to walk away energized. So if you think panels and stories and roundtable conversations and really concise, tight presentations without, all that PowerPoint overload that we can see sometimes.
Right. And I think, just from my experience at some of the other events that we do, I think that that's usually the most powerful type of experience for an attendee, to be able to sit down with other print service providers or other people who are, becoming G7 Plus certified, or, people who are further along on their journey, and talking to people, like you said, who don't have a lot of experience or just starting to, explore this. So I think that's, that peer-to-peer interaction is really effective.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think that people will get just as much value out of talking to each other as they will from the roundtables and the presentations and some of the panels we're going to have. So yeah, we're really excited about the format.
Yeah, love that. So, for someone who isn't yet G7 certified or maybe only knows a little bit about it, what would you say to them to encourage them to attend this event?
Yeah. So first, I want to mention that the event it's complimentary. It's complimentary to all Printing United Expo attendees, and it's open to everyone. So it's open to everyone, not just certified experts. So if you're really curious about how to improve color consistency, accuracy, reducing waste, all the things that we try to do as an industry that produces print, you really need to be here. So it's really I think what I can boil this all down to is if you're new, just bring your curiosity with you. You'll get to hear you'll get to hear from people who've already implemented G7 or G7 Plus. You'll get to hear what worked, what didn't, how to get started, and how implementing this really changed how they do business. So it's a great way to get connected, to see that there's a whole community out there that you can connect with and lean on.
I love that. I love that idea of community that you're building with this. Um, so there's a strong emphasis on real world application and peer-to-peer learning at this event. Why was that important to you and to the advisory team?
Yeah, I mean, color management, like a lot of things, it's just not something in printing color accurately. There's not this one big, thick textbook that explains how to do that necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of different resources out there that'll give you bits and pieces. I mean, this process really lives on the press room floor, on the shop floor, in what clients see as proofs, in conversations that we have with each other and with our customers and with creatives. And really, I think that the best advice comes from someone who's actually been there and done that, and maybe failed a few times along the way and can share that. So instead of just theory and kind of um, one way presentations where you're just sitting there and listening, we wanted to have more sessions that were open discussions where we could talk about real workflows with real problems and real solutions and case studies and tips and tricks, and really open up the questions and answers. So there's going to be a roundtable format at this event that especially will appeal to people that really want to dig into their specific challenges and their specific printing niche, and walk away with real solutions, and not just, I think I know how to do that, but really this is how you do that.
Right. Right. So, the practical stuff or the logistical stuff, I should say. When is it? Where is it? And how can our listeners register for the event?
Yeah. So it's happening, and it's happening October 21st, right? So it's at Printing United Expo. It's the day before Printing United Expo kicks off. It's at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando. So the event runs from 12:30 to 5:30. So you can fly in that morning or the night before, and you can be ready for that event and then ready for Expo the next day. So if you just head to printingunited.com, so just remember printingunited.com/G7 hyphen exchange, you can register super quick. And again, if you're attending Printing United Expo, this event is complimentary.
Perfect. Yeah, that's very convenient to have it all in one place and have it the day before.
Yep. We figured that there were a lot of people that were going to be there anyway, because it's a massive trade show. So the manufacturers are going to be there. A lot of printers are going to be there. A lot of the consultants and a lot of the people that this type of an event would appeal to were going to be there. So we thought it was a perfect fit.
Want to level up your skills or empower your workforce? Meet iLearning Plus, the online education platform powered by our parent organization, Printing United Alliance. With on-demand courses and certifications, iLearning Plus helps print professionals stay ahead of industry trends, sharpen their expertise, and grow their careers. Whether you're elevating your skills or training your team, we've got the resources to keep you competitive. Printing United Alliance members save 20% on all courses and certifications. So get started today at ilearningplus.org and build a stronger future in print.
So I want to shift our conversation a little bit, just take a few minutes to talk about iLearning Plus. I know that pretty regularly new courses are launched on the platform, and I'd love to maybe get an update on that. Are there new courses coming? Have any come out recently? Any new certifications? Maybe could you talk about that a little bit?
I can, yeah. So we just released a course titled AI and Color Management. And I know you and I, just before this podcast, we were talking a little bit about AI and some of our AI experiences. Um, this one is great. It's brand new. It's timely. It dives into how AI is actually being used in print workflows, right? So covers a little bit about generating images with AI tools, but what it delves into is like when you use these tools to create those images, like what what color space are these images in? Like what is the color space useful for print? It everything ties back to the printing industry. It's not just hey, here's some really cool tools where you can generate images. It talks about where uh, how these images are generated and how they can impact color in print production workflow. So the course is designed for designers, it's designed for color managers, pre-press teams, and anybody that wants to experiment with AI, but do it in a smart way when it comes to print production, right? So it's a good hour-long course. It's only an hour. And it was developed by Jim Raffle, Colorcasters, who is has been doing a lot of research on this, and he's done a great job of putting this course together. We also released, talking about G7 Plus Exchange, we also released the G7 Plus Expert Training and Certification on-demand e-learning course. And so why that's significant is up until we released this course in iLearning Plus, the only way to get a certification, a G7 or G7 Plus expert certification, was through live training or live in-person training or live virtual training. This is a complete e-learning course, so people can learn at their own pace and earn that certification. There are people that like to learn on their time, right? And this is a perfect practical way to do that. And then there's people that they like that interaction with the instructor, and so we have that with virtual and in-person training. So we're trying to cover all bases when it comes to training and how people like to learn. And the third course that we've released is it's a course for our screen printing community. It's called Screen Making Basics. And this is a great training tool for screen print shops, right? Especially if you're onboarding new staff. And that's a challenge in the industry, right? Printers, it's hard to find, it doesn't matter what printing industry segment you're in, it's hard to find people with experience. And so what printers are looking for are people that are motivated, right? And motivated to learn. And so this is one of those courses, like a lot of the courses that we have in iLearning Plus, that will help with onboarding people that are new to the business. So it's a course that walks people through the entire screen making process, step by step, introduces them to terminology. It explains why each step matters and why each step matters when it comes to getting a quality print out the other side. So we're excited about that release as well. And we've got more in the hopper for release at Printing United Expo, but you're going to have to stay tuned for that because I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag on those courses just yet.
Okay. And I'll make sure to follow up with you to find out once we get closer to the expo to see if we have anything that we can share. I love that you mentioned, the different types of courses, the virtual with an instructor, and then the ones that you can kind of do on your own time, because everyone learns differently, So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, they
that's
do.
really great.
We got that feedback from a lot of people. like the G7 Plus certification course and certification. That's a good example of one. That's if you attend that course live in person, that's a 3 or 4 day course. If you do it live virtual, it's a 3 day course. And some people can't, it's just impossible to take that much time away from work to go through it. And so the on-demand option is good for that type of an environment, or that type of person that just kind of likes to learn as they go and not really be tied to 2 or 3 or 4 days of training. But then, look, admittedly, I'm somebody that likes to learn in person. And so we've got offerings for that too. So we're covering all bases based on the feedback that we've gotten.
Great. Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the G7 Plus Exchange and updates to iLearning Plus. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Joe for joining me today on the episode, and I want to thank all of you, our listeners. I will include links to everything we discussed today in the description for easy access, and make sure that you stay tuned for the next episode of the Impressions Exchange podcast.